Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, going to put together a little odds and ends video for you this week, and we've just got some stuff stacking up over here. Haven't done one of these in quite a while now. So I got some viewer mail, I got some new purchases for the shop I want to share with you guys, as well as a couple little shop improvement things that we've got going on. A couple little things we've been working on doing around here just to make the shop a little bit better. And with that, let's get in here and get started. So up first here, just got a collection of some miscellaneous stuff. This was sent in by Adam Knapp, who lives down in Florida. And Adam just had, again, just some miscellaneous stuff here. Some of this I know what it is, some of it I'm not quite sure. So to start out with, we got some slitting saws here. We can use these over on the horizontal milling machine. 1/4 inch thick, I think, is what these are, some different diameters. I'll put these in my cabinet with my other milling cutters and have them if we ever need them. This right here is a arbor that goes on a surface grinder. So you would mount a wheel to this and you would actually pull the whole wheel off of the hub. It's got a taper on one end. A lot of your surface grinders have it where you can remove those hubs. Unfortunately, that doesn't fit my surface grinder. This one fits a smaller surface grinder, but these are extremely handy because you can get wheels set up where you don't have to actually take the collar off and everything to change the wheel. You just pop the hub off and move them back and forth. The other items on here I'm really not sure about, just you know, who knows. That one's got a little D-shaped piece in there to keep from rotating on a shaft. I'm not sure what it is. This I think this is probably like a pawl for some type of ratcheting device, but I don't know what. It's put together, so there's two outer pieces, the inner piece. There's actually a shim. Looks like maybe a brass shim on each side of it. Again, no idea what it fits. And again, another piece here. This was obviously shop made. I imagine what this is it had a handle that came out of it, the way the angle is on it, like on a milling machine or whatever, a quill, and that would tighten down on a shaft. That's my guess anyway. But anyway, Adam, thanks for sending this stuff along. I'm gonna put this stuff up and have it when we need it. Next item here was sent in to me by my friend Steve Bell. Steve is actually an old boss of mine from way back when, actually when I was in probably middle school and high school. I spent some of my summers, vacations and so forth working for Steve. He had an electrical contracting company, and he hired me during the summer times and spring breaks and stuff like that to make a little bit of extra cash while I was in school. I learned a lot from him as far as electrical works goes. I'm by no means a certified electrician, but I can do a lot of wiring because of what I learned working with him as just a grade school kid, you know, doing summer work. Something that unfortunately a lot of kids this day and age don't take advantage of, but learn valuable things. Steve follows me over on Facebook, and he sent me a Facebook message a while back. He had come across this Machinery's handbook somewhere or another, and wanted to know if I could use it. And I'm like, absolutely. 1943 edition, 11th edition from 1943. But anyway, these are handy, guys. If you've got a machine shop, even a hobby shop, you need a copy of this. This is an absolute necessary thing you need to have. It has all kinds of information in here that you can look up. There's rarely a week that goes by that I'm not consulting my Machinery's handbook for some type of information. So if you don't have one, go find one. The older copies are fairly easy to pick up on eBay and places like that. And they still sell a brand new version that you can get right now that's modern and up to date with today's time. So up next, got a really cool catalog here. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Dietzgen company, Eugene Dietzgen company. I'm very familiar with the company though, because these guys made all kinds of tools and accessories and stuff to use for drawing by hand. When I was a high school student, I took a lot of drafting classes. I actually was kind of in a drafting technical program at one point in time where we were doing drafting the old school way, and this was back really, computers were around I guess CAD was technically around, but at that point in time, back in the uh, early to mid 80s, everything was still being done by hand. So I learned how to do mechanical drafting and architectural drafting using a lot of the tools that you see in this book. So really interesting for me, and kind of a little trip back in time, I guess, to look in here. They also made some surveying equipment and what have you, but just really cool stuff. And again, brings back a lot of cool memories. And I will still occasionally, if I need to draw something, although I'm getting better with CAD, sometimes I'll just go do a quick sketch using my old T-square and some triangles. I've got some stuff set up in my office where I can do that. And sometimes that's the quickest, easiest way for me to do something, is to just draw it by hand. Incidentally, I know a local architect here in town. He's approaching retirement, but he still does everything on paper and on a drafting table. He does not have a computer-aided system in his office, and it's amazing how fast that man can draw stuff. It just blows my mind. I love to go over there and just watch him when he's working. He's a pretty good friend of mine. Helps out at the museum. So anyway, really cool book. That's going to be a nice addition to the library, and we'll get it put up in there. And I'm going to spend a little bit more time thumbing through it before I do, because it's just cool. So next, I got a really cool viewer-made item that was made for me and given to me by Luke Bucks. Now, Luke, little bit I always have a story to tell, I guess, but Luke actually came and helped me do some work here in the shop when we were putting up ceiling. He came over several times. He was living at the time in Columbus, Georgia. He's in a military family over there. Both him and his wife were in the Army. His wife is still in the Army as a nurse, but he would come over to the shop from time to time and give me a hand on stuff. It's a couple of hours away. And a while back, not too terribly long ago, he had a little project. He wanted me to help him out. He brought some stuff over. I did some machining for him. While he was here, there was a machine that I had that I was wanting to sell, and he wanted to purchase it. So over the last couple of months, he's made several trips back and forth, and finally got the machine picked up. He's actually moving. His wife's been transferred up to new duty station, so he's leaving out of the Columbus area, unfortunately for me, I guess. But when he came to pick up the machine that he bought from me, he brought along this as a gift, and this is a custom-made wooden box that he made for me to hold my Starrett number 98 levels. So when I opened this up, he had this laser engraved, and when I open it up, first thing I'll tell you is that the person that did the laser engraving for him did not follow the directions, and they didn't get the orientation of my logo on the inside of the box correct, which he was very embarrassed about. And he told me he was going to have them do another thin piece of wood that we could just kind of lay in here and get it the right way. I haven't gotten that from him yet, but I wanted to show you the box. And inside the box is custom fitted to fit my entire collection of Starrett 98 levels. Now, the levels I already had, he did tell me he was going to do this, and I kind of gave him some dimensions on the levels and everything. And he made a little insert down here that fits inside the box that all the levels fit into, so that I can keep my levels. I've got 6 different sizes. They're all model 98s, but they come in different lengths. And now I've got a nice box to put them in and protect them in. Now the box, for you wood guys out there, the outside part of it is all mesquite, and the inside of it, or the top here, this is a piece of walnut burl that he had laser engraved there. But anyway, I wanted to share that. I'm really excited to have this. This will be a nice box to protect my levels in, and nice to look at. And Luke, thanks so much for the hard work on that. Very nice, thoughtful gift. And I greatly appreciate it. Up next, we got some more books that were sent in. These were sent in by Bruce Lee up in Hillsboro, Oregon. I'm assuming that's not the martial arts expert Bruce Lee. I'm teasing. It's not. It's a different one. But Bruce sent this in, and a couple of different things here. So number one, we have some tooling manuals. These came out. These are for reprints basically from the American Machinist magazine, and what they are is different reprints of articles over the years related to tooling in the machine shop. And there's actually a first edition and a second edition. So these are, excuse me, this is third edition. So I don't guess I have the first edition, but these are just different versions. So that third edition actually has a stamp on there from 1953, so it would have been published sometime before that. And I'm assuming the second version here would have been even before that. So anyway, nice little set there. And then the stack of books here. This is a 4-part series on drafting. We were just talking about drafting a while ago in my high school experiences doing mechanical drafting. And here we got some basically textbooks on drafting for the machine trade. So this is all about mechanical drafting. Back in the old days when you had rooms full of people with T-squares and triangles and pencils and ink sets, and talks about all the principles of drafting. And I got to learn a lot of this years and years ago. It's a dying art, because nowadays in the computer CAD world, you just push some buttons and drag a mouse along the computer screen, and it does a lot of this stuff kind of for you in the background. So anyway, these are interesting. There's got some stuff in here on actual machine design as well as the actual drafting for it. So I'm going to spend some time looking through these. This will be interesting to take a look at. And Bruce, again, as always, thanks for sending those along. Up next, nice little surprise came in the mail from Greg Oginski up in Flint, Michigan. And he sent me a tube. In fact, it was in this tube right here. That's the remainder of what he sent. It was a brand spanking new, had never been opened or unwrapped tube of brazing rods that have the flux on them. And this will definitely get used. If you watch my channel a lot, I do a fair amount of brazing still. I'm always, in fact, I was kind of getting low on brazing rods. I had it on my list. I needed to get some, and lo and behold, a box of brand new ones show up in the mail. So what a deal. So Greg, thanks so much. I did take them out of the little plastic or paper sleeve, and I like to keep my brazing rods. I got some of these plastic things you put TIG welding rods in. They hold the brazing rods great as well. Kind of keeps them protected, keep them sealed up and out of the way. So I actually got these over there on the wall with my TIG rods, and got your whole set here of brazing rods in there. These will definitely get used. In fact, I've got a couple of brazing jobs coming up here pretty soon, and they will very likely get used when I do those. So Greg, thanks so much for sending those along. They appeared to be pretty old. I think these when I was opening up the container, you could tell they'd been sitting around for quite a while. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, sometimes I think the older stuff might be a little bit better than the newer stuff. So thanks for sending those along, Greg. Next, I got a package in the mail with just some miscellaneous stuff in it. This comes from Mark Peterson up in Minnesota. And again, just some miscellaneous things. He had actually told me he had this little speed indicator. I wanted to know if I wanted it. And then when it came, there were some other goodies in the box as well. So we'll start with this. This is a Starrett speed indicator. If you've never seen one, it's basically a tachometer for all intent and purposes. The way this thing works is when this thing spins, if you look, the dial here in the center goes around and it keeps track. There's lines on here for every revolution. And what you do is you start at 0, you get that wound around to 0, which is basically straight up and down, and you put it on a shaft or something that's turning, and you hold it there for some period of time. Obviously, if you did it for 1 minute, you could count the number of revolutions, and that would be your RPMs. You could do it for 30 seconds or 15 seconds and multiply times 2 or 4 or something like that as well. So kind of low tech, but these things are handy. I actually use these all the time for things. We use them at the museum when we're setting a timing on a steam engine. I use them in here to check machine speeds and what have you. They come in handy. This one has a couple of different tips. That one there will fit up into a center hole, whereas this one here will just go flat up on a shaft that doesn't have a center hole in it. Anyway, nice little setup, and we'll put these. I've actually got another one over in my toolbox, so I'm gonna put this one with it. Nice to have around. Other stuff in here, a little decimal equivalence card. Got a set of pliers. This is the Eiffel Flash plier wrench, and these are kind of cool because if you look, the jaws say parallel depending on where you put them at, and I think you can go up to different sizes there depending on where you pull your handle. I've seen these before, but they're pretty neat because again, it keeps them parallel, so you can kind of use this like a wrench, but it's a set of pliers that's adjustable. This is I call them a bridge reamer. They use them for different things, but it's a reamer basically to ream and countersink a hole. So this would be kind of a finishing tool you go in there and do on there. Some type of little brass key. I have no idea what that went to, but it's cool. And this is a little borescope camera, a USB powered borescope camera. So a little small camera that you can run down inside of something. I think this one is made for an Android phone. And then this here was just a little puzzle, Morganite carbon puzzle. So these guys made, if I'm not mistaken, they made like carbon brushes that go in motors, and these are actually pieces of carbon in here. But you would set this thing up. There was a certain, I think you started, let's see, I'd have to redo it. You start it like that, and it's a puzzle, and basically what you're trying to do is get this piece moved from the top to the bottom without removing any of the pieces out of there. And I played around with it. I actually solved the puzzle. It took me about 5 minutes, but it really wasn't that hard. But anyway, I thought that was kind of neat. Just an old school puzzle, just some pieces that fit in a box. And you know, I used to, when I was a kid, you had little plastic things that you'd have to shuffle around. Very similar, but not quite as high tech. But I thought that was neat that they basically took their product, which was carbon for brushes, and made a puzzle out of it. So anyway, kind of cool. Next, got a couple of new stickers for my sticker board. Some of these I've actually had laying around for a while, and I need to get them put up. So Dragonfly Engineering, these are the guys that actually helped me out on the steam stoker engine project. They made some new piston rods, and he sent along the decal here for his channel, a YouTube channel. Machine NZ, this is a YouTuber out of New Zealand that sent me a decal along. And then also we have Vaughn Industrial. This is Tom Utley's business where he makes all the little new machine tag restoration pieces. So he etches the brass and the aluminum and what have you, and does an absolutely fantastic job making restoration machine tags. So anyway, we're going to go over to the board. My first sticker board is full, but I've kind of gone to another whiteboard and got some sticking newer ones over there. So we'll go over there and put these up real quick. Let's see here. This whiteboard I kind of use out here to put notes on. It's my shopping list, my to-do list, etc. So we'll stick these up here on there. There's Machine New Zealand. Dragonfly Engineering up here. And how about a little bit of Vaughn Industrial right here. There we go. On permanent display now. A couple of shop improvements that I'll show you guys that we did. I put some shelves up over here on this wall, and mainly to get my straight edges in a better place. These things have been sitting on my surface plate, and I've gotten so many straight edges now that they were taking up quite a bit of space on my surface plate. So if you're not familiar with straight edges, we use these for machinery building. It kind of becomes an extension of the surface plate. You scrape the straight edge flat to the surface plate, but then you can take this to a machine where you can't always get the part from the machine onto the surface plate. And I've used most of these at some point in time. Some of them I haven't used yet. Most of these are all scraped in and ready to go. Basically what I do is anytime I use a straight edge, the first thing I do is I take it to the plate, blew it up, double check it, fine tune it if necessary. Usually it's not. So, for example, I recently picked up this 5-footer in that 3-foot Camelback over there. I've used the 5-footer, so I checked it out. I scraped it in, didn't take very long. The 3-footer I haven't used yet, so it has not been scraped in yet. But as soon as I need it, we'll do it, get it, take care of it right then. But most of these are ready to go whenever I need them. But like having these, they're out of the way. They're over here where I can get to them easily, but they're not eating up all my space on my surface plate anymore. So a couple of months ago, I did some remodeling in the shop, or rearranging, I guess maybe in the shop be a better way of putting it. And I kind of moved all of my milling equipment over in this area. And at the same time, I moved some of my cabinets that were more milling related. And I got these 2 Lista cabinets, or they're not Lista, one's an Equipto and one's a Lion or Vidmar. But they were over here. I already had my rack with all my 50 taper tooling, but I went ahead and kind of used up some more of this wall space here for some more storage. So again, I got a shelf on the wall, and I came in and I actually bolted these 2 bolt bins to the wall. So I've got all my nuts and bolts over here, hardware and stuff like that. Again, where I can go put my hands on it when I need it. I've had these for a while. They just kind of floated around, but I really kind of like them now. They're not eating up counter space. They're up on the wall, and I got plenty of room up underneath it. I did go ahead and get a tool cabinet here, and I've spent a good bit of time just moving stuff from one toolbox to another, cleaning out one toolbox and moving things. So I've really kind of got most of my milling of stuff over here in these cabinets. And some of the stuff that was in these cabinets I've moved over to other parts of the shop to get them close to where I'm going to need them, so I'm not having to walk all over the place to get stuff. And then these little parts drawers, I've had these for some time, and I need to spend some more time getting these organized. I've got some of them organized, some of them aren't, but I need to get machine screws and stuff like that where they're all nice and organized. A lot of stuff I just got kind of in individual containers or whatever, and whenever I need something, it takes me a while to dig something up. This whole box up top here is just stuff that needs to be sorted through and put in one of these bin drawers. So, but again, over on this side of the wall, it's mostly milling stuff as well as fasteners, nuts, bolts, things like that. Kind of got all in one nice area. Next item here is actually a purchase that I made recently, and one of my viewers actually contacted me and said, hey, I just posted a bunch of stuff up on Facebook. It was actually the company where he worked at. They were cleaning some stuff out of the shop and what have you, and they'd posted a bunch of stuff. It was on Craigslist, actually, and he sent me the link and said, if you're interested in any of this stuff, let me know. I'll work out a deal with you. And one of the items in there was this Rigid Model 700 pipe threader. And this is something I said, you know what, I've got my compressor job that I'm working on literally right now. I got a lot of pipe stuff that's got to be done in the shop on it. I don't do a whole lot of pipe work, but I really didn't have any good tools. I was basically having to go out to the museum and use their stuff anytime I need to do any pipe work. So I made a deal on this, worked out really good. So came with the automatic threader here. So basically you put a die in here, and this is power supplied. You got this in a pipe vise or something, and instead of having to hand crank on it like you normally have to, it's a power tool. Additionally, it came with the die holders here, so you can do it by hand. And it also came with a full set of dies from, I think, what was it? It's either 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch up to 2 inches. So I've got all the dies really to do the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing with. Came with a couple of cutters here. A big one and a small one for different size pipe. So basically, with what's in here, I've got everything I need to be in the pipe business, the pipe threading business. And I have been using this quite a bit the last month or two, as I have been slowly working on getting my air compressor all plumbed in, and eventually we're going to have, pipes all through the shop. I just haven't had a lot of time to work on that, but this will be a great help in doing that. And I'm real happy to have it as a new tool to use in the shop. Well, there you go. Another collection of items that we have accumulated around the shop that we're showing you guys in odds and ends. I hope you enjoyed doing that. I know a lot of guys enjoy this series because you get to see some tools you may not even know were out there, and just some interesting things that show up around here from time to time. So a couple other little quick things I want to just mention before we get out of here. I don't really talk a whole lot about this, but there are other social media outlets where you can kind of keep track of what I'm doing besides just here on my YouTube channel. So if you're on Instagram, Instagram is an app that I have on my phone now. For a long time I didn't do Instagram, and it's really become one of my favorite social media apps because people just post little quick pictures or little short video clips of things they have going on. And a lot of times, guys, when I'm working on stuff out here in the shop, I'll take a quick picture or I'll take a little quick video snippet and I'll post it up there. And you know, everything that I do out here in the shop doesn't end up in a video. I just, you know, some jobs are just too small, or I may have already done something like it, or I may be in a rush and just don't have time to get to shoot a video. But a lot of times you can see other projects that I'm working on Instagram because I'll post it over there. Also, a lot of times you get a sneak peek of the next video coming up because you can kind of see some things that I'm working on that I am going to shoot a video on. So go check out my Instagram account. You can subscribe to that at Vintage Machinery is my Instagram handle. You can go over there and find that. All of my Instagram posts also get posted to my Facebook page. You can search for my name, Keith Rucker, on Facebook. And that account is really more my personal account. I do have a Vintage Machinery page on Facebook as well, and a lot of stuff gets cross-posted between the two, so you can check out those. And finally, guys, again, I try not to do this every video, but I do like to mention it every now and then. Patreon, that's a place where you can help support the channel, and we greatly appreciate everybody who helps us out on Patreon. You know, I really don't like asking people to send money or anything like that, but guys, it does take a lot of money to do these videos. It takes a lot of time to do these videos, time that I could be spending doing other things and potentially making money instead of shooting videos and editing videos. So anything you can do to help out. The money that we get on Patreon, it all gets reinvested back into the shop. So it gets reinvested in things that you guys are going to get to enjoy if you are subscribers over here on the YouTube channel. And you know, I like to tell folks, you know, yes, if you monetize your videos on YouTube, you get a little bit of money off of the ads, but if you watch everything I put on YouTube in a month, I'm probably doing good to earn a penny off of you. You know, per person, it's just not that much money. So I would just ask you to ask yourself, what value do you get out of these videos that we're putting out there? And if your answer is, yeah, I get value out of that, you know, seriously consider kicking back a little bit, even if it's just $1 a month. You know, we've gone from a penny to $1. It makes a big difference around here and really kind of helps keep things going. And that's not just for myself, that's for any YouTube creator that's out there. If you're watching them and you find value in what they're doing, find a way to help them out and support them because it really does make a difference. And guys, with that, that is going to be a wrap on this video. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And those thumbs up, comments are appreciated as always. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.